Hello, this is a C# support video for the C# challenge Round Around, which was released on week 8. So for this challenge, we need to make a function which takes two parameters. The first is the radius of a circle, or circule, sorry about that, just spotted that. And the second is how many decimal places we want the answer to be formatted to. And the answer isn't a floating point number, the answer needs to be returned as a string. So that's important that we don't use just the math.round function, because if the answer is, say, 6.30000 and we want it to two decimal places, then the string should be 6.30, not rounded to 6.3. So let's get started. It has to be static so that we can call the function without needing an instance of the class. Returns a string. It's called round and it's got two parameters. The first is a double and the second is an integer. So the double is the radius and the integer parameter is the number of decimal places. I'm just going to call it dp. Although it's going to bug me. I say to all of my students that we need to use sensible identifiers, so let's go for that, decimal places. Okay, and we need to calculate the circumference. So the process going on here is we need to do pi, which is a constant, multiplied by the radius times 2, because the circumference is pi d, where d is the diameter and the diameter is twice the radius. Okay, so if we store that, so double just means a floating point number with double precision. It uses twice as many bits. Circumference. Then we need to convert that to a string. So you might be tempted to do math.round. You might get away with it. It depends on the test data. Let's see. If we return that.toString, we'd be tempted to think that that would work. And it might. But no, here we go. So we'd expect the answer to be 6.3, not exactly 6. Oh, because I didn't specify how many decimal places. Here we go, let's try again. Yeah, so it's still not exactly as we want. So we can't use this. What we need to do instead is use string.format and pass in a parameter, the string.formatting, so that it is going to be to, let's say, to 4 decimal places. That would be this kind of thing. And if we wanted 5 decimal places, we just put an extra 0 in there. So the number of zeros that we want after here needs to be the number of decimal places specified by the parameter. And then we pass in this value to actually do the conversion. So let's return that here. So this will always just have one decimal place, which isn't what we want, but let's just test and see if that works so far. Yeah, so it's only returning one decimal place so far, whereas it said it should have 2. So we're going to replace this part with our own custom string. So let's call it format specifier, or just format for short maybe. And it needs to be 0 point and then however many zeros that is specified by this integer. And we'll use a for loop for that. For int I equals 0. I is less than the number of decimal places than we want. Increase I each time the for loop runs. And then each time the for loop runs, we'll just add on, we'll concatenate on a 0 onto the end of this string. And then we can replace that bit with a string format specifier, which should hopefully work. Let's see. Hooray! So well done those of you who have already completed this challenge. Hope this is useful, just as a reminder of how to do string formatting. There's all sorts of ways that you can use this to pad values, to align values, or to round values to a certain number of decimal places. All the best. See you next time.